What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. It seems you guys really liked the concept that I introduced in the last part, so of course, we're continuing the scenario today. Last time, we saw what happened when Kakarot was sent to Namek instead of going to Earth. As you could probably guess, even though it's a small and somewhat realistic change, it has huge consequences on the story overall. The last part focused on what happened with Earth in the meantime, as well as what Kakarot was doing once he got there and his first few years there. But from where we left off, a new threat is about to arrive. For this video, let's set a like goal of 4,000 likes. Once we hit that, I'll continue with another part to this series. Anyways, let's pick up from here. Kakarot senses a power coming closer and closer to Namek. He's not sure if it's a friend or a foe, but it's likely the latter. It feels a bit malicious, but more concerningly, it feels a bit familiar, and he can't really tell why. But the good thing is, it doesn't seem too incredibly strong, at least in comparison to him and some of the other warrior Namekians. As mentioned last time, of course I'm referring to Raditz. He's heading towards the planet, aiming to recruit Kakarot. And soon after he's sensed, he lands on the planet. He doesn't know much about this planet, but from what he does know, it seems that the people are peaceful and there's probably not too many strong people here. It's only Kakarot that he's looking for. But as he takes out his scouter and begins looking for powers, he comes to see that there's actually a bunch of strong people there. As we know, Kakarot isn't even the strongest here. And also, warrior Namekians should be pretty strong. I mean, look at Nail. His power was 42,000, and if Nail's the strongest of them at 42,000, there's probably other really strong ones, at least with 4-digit power levels. Even if there's only a few of them, there should be more than enough to overwhelm Raditz, and he comes to learn this right away. The Namekians can tell that he's easily a threat. He's being very aggressive, and it seems like he's here to actually kidnap someone. The most concerning part is that he seems to be a Saiyan just like Kakarot. As Raditz lands, one of the Namekians says to gather the Wish Orbs. He might be after them. Raditz is pretty interested to hear this too. That's not what he was here for, but it's good to know that Wish Orbs exist on this planet. But that's not his main goal right now, it's Kakarot. And from what they know of Saiyans, well, they are bad people. Kakarot's an exception though due to how he was raised, but Raditz is definitely going to be a threat here. Much to Raditz's surprise, not only is he completely overwhelmed, but they even destroy his ship and scouter. The Namekians are fair and peaceful people, so they don't just kill him in cold blood. They actually keep him alive, trying to figure out why he's here, wanting to see if he even truly is a threat. He's getting angered by this. They've captured him and destroyed his mode of transport. All he wants is to find Kakarot. He doesn't want to fight these small fries, but if he has to, then so be it. In his hand, he charges a fake moon, throwing it up in the sky. The Namekians are confused at first, thinking that he threw up some sort of ki attack, but then they watch as Raditz begins growing in size, transforming into an Uzaru. This could be bad news. Kakarot never had to worry about it. Namek hasn't been shown to have a moon, and it's also been shown to always be daytime there. So likely Kakarot's never encountered this, until now. He's heading over to where he senses this energy, and he even sees the giant ape in the distance. He wonders what's going on. Nail has told him about this ability before, but he's never made use of it, also because it did seem too dangerous. And above that ape, he sees a giant glowing ball. Mid-air, Kakarot stops flying. He begins feeling weird. He feels energy. It's stemming from his tail. His mind goes completely blank, and he begins transforming into a great ape as well. Raditz fends off all the Namekians. Luckily, they don't get killed by him. He's only doing this to escape their grasp so he could find Kakarot, and, in all honesty, Raditz isn't really that strong in Great Ape either. At least not strong enough to kill a couple warriors casually right away. He sees another Uzaru in the distance. That's him. That's Kakarot. Raditz leaps through the air, landing in front of where Kakarot is. He begins trying to converse with his brother, but Kakarot doesn't respond. He looks at Raditz, and he doesn't say anything. He just growls. Great. He's gonna have to retrieve Kakarot by force, isn't he? He doesn't know if Kakarot would even want to join him or not, but he knows what's going on here. Kakarot doesn't know how to control this state. Well, he guesses that makes sense. All the Namekians here are still alive, and if Kakarot actually did do that, well, the Namekians would have been dead by now. This shouldn't be too bad though. Kakarot has no control after all. Raditz will be able to defeat him pretty easily, at least he hopes so. But he quickly comes to realize that once again, he is kinda screwed. Even when he's transformed, he's not gonna win here. Kakarot is very strong as we discussed the last episode, way stronger than even Raditz is in his base form. And even though Raditz is stronger as a great ape, Kakarot's way stronger too, so it's a double-edged sword. He's strong, too strong. It doesn't seem like Raditz is able to do anything to counter his brother's attacks. Nothing is working. Thankfully the attacks are easy to avoid because Kakarot's kind of out of control, but he can't injure him at all. But wait, if Kakarot doesn't know how to control this form, he likely doesn't know about the weakness in his tail. There's no way he's going to be protecting that, so Raditz takes the opportunity to attack. He goes right for Kakarot's tail, aiming to rip it off, seeing this as the only way to win this fight. The Namekians watch on, still confused and unsure what's happening. It seems like Kakarot's completely inconsolable. Nail even watches on too, trying to figure out any way to stop this, but it seems Raditz already has the idea. He goes right for Kakarot's tail, ripping it clean off. Kakarot shrieks as he transforms, turning back into his base form. Thankfully, he's pretty much uninjured besides his tail being ripped off. Raditz did absolutely no damage to him, although Kakarot has no idea what just happened. He gets up after a bit, still confused, and then he sees a giant ape in front of him. And that was the last thing he remembered seeing. Immediately, Kakarot is hostile. He has no clue what this threat is, but then it clicks with him. This is a Saiyan. He could tell by the armor, and from what the other Namekians are saying. Apparently, he just transformed into one of those things too. But how did he de-transform then? It was his tail. It got ripped clean off. So if he wants to do the same to this guy, he's gonna have to cut off his tail. Kakarot jumps into the air, asking this guy who he is, but is immediately met by an attack from Raditz. Raditz throws a punch, and Kakarot jumps right over it. Wait a second, this guy isn't that strong. Even as a great ape, he's been weakened a bit by fighting Kakarot. Remember, Kakarot's over 6,000 in terms of power. And as for Raditz, he's about 1,500 and would be 15,000 as a great ape. But with him being weakened, he'd probably be closer to where Kakarot is in terms of strength. Kakarot feels the Saiyan blood pumping. Maybe he could defeat this guy without making him de-transform. And if that is a way to make him de-transform, well, Raditz will know to defend his tail after all. So Kakarot's gonna have to be smarter. He spends some time actually fighting Raditz normally, pretending he doesn't know about the tail thing. Sure, Raditz is huge and threatening, but Kakarot's able to help counter him, and with the help from Nail and other warrior Namekians, Raditz is eventually completely overwhelmed by them. Even transformed, he can't win. What the hell is this planet? One Namekian is able to sneak around Raditz, cutting his tail clean off. And everyone watches as he de-transforms. Kakarot points a single finger at Raditz as he gets smaller and smaller, charging a beam ready to kill him. He's threatening this peaceful planet, and he wants this man to leave. He doesn't even know why this guy is attacking them. Kakarot's a Saiyan too. Doesn't he know that? If anything, he's working to avenge the Saiyans. Why is the Saiyan trying to attack them? But Raditz tells Kakarot he has it all wrong. He asks him, why kill his own brother? Wait, brother? This comes as a shock to everyone, including Kakarot himself. Somehow there was another Saiyan survivor out there, and it was his own brother of all things. That explains why the key felt familiar somehow. It felt familiar to his own. Raditz begins to explain why he's here. Originally, he wanted to recruit Kakarot. He wanted Kakarot as part of his group. There's 2 other Saiyans around as well. There's Prince Vegeta IV, who is the son of King Vegeta, and then Nappa. And Kakarot immediately recognized the name Vegeta. It's the name of the planet after all. And I mean, his name is Prince Vegeta, so this must be important. And if these Saiyans all survived, they must be pretty strong. Apparently, they want to defeat some guy named Frieza, and for some reason that name sounds familiar to Kakarot too. Of course, he has heard it before from the Namekians. But more so, he feels like he knows it from before, when his parents sent him away. Did his father mention it or something? He tries racking his brain, but he can't tell. But even if they are trying to defeat this Frieza guy, Kakarot doesn't really want to join these Saiyans. From what he knows, Frieza's really strong. That would be death. But also, he's not like the Saiyans. Just look at what Raditz just did. He almost killed all those Namekians in Kakarot, just to get his way. Had they not been stronger than him, who knows, he could have killed dozens of people. Kakarot is a peaceful warrior. He's here to protect Namek, as well as other planets like Namek, including Earth. The Saiyans are vicious warriors, and even if they are trying to defeat Frieza, which seems unrealistic right now, he doesn't really want to join them. That's not who he is. But Raditz says Kakarot doesn't understand. They need to kill Frieza no matter what. Even if he isn't like the Saiyans, who cares? And Kakarot asks Raditz, does he think Frieza's maybe the reason that planet Vegeta was destroyed? The reason all those Saiyans, including their parents, are dead? The reason that these two were separated for so many years? And Raditz is taken aback by this. Well, honestly, he doesn't know. He's been told that a meteor destroyed the planet. But obviously that sounds kind of fishy. He, Vegeta, and Nappa have always thought that Frieza did it. They never had any definitive proof, but it's always been in the back of their minds. This isn't a definitive answer for Kakarot. But the fact that even these 3 suspect it makes him realize it might have actually been Frieza that caused it. It was like he was suspecting before. There was someone responsible for destroying the planet. So he knows exactly who he has to kill to get vengeance from. But still, it's completely unrealistic right now. He even gets more info from Raditz about Frieza's strength. And Kakarot's kind of reluctant, but he says he might join them. Although there is kind of an issue. Raditz doesn't have a scouter anymore and he doesn't even have a space pod. He has no way of contacting Vegeta and Nappa. But it should be fine. They'll probably be here within a few months. I mean, they might have thought that Raditz died here after all. So they'll come back for him, hopefully. And in the meantime, Raditz can stay here and help train Kakarot. Or at least show him more of his Saiyan side. Obviously, Raditz is way weaker than Kakarot right now, so training him won't really do too much. If anything, it'll be the other way around. But the sentiment is there at least. Raditz begins getting to know his brother more and more, and it seems that even though Kakarot does want to join them in this goal, it won't be permanent. He's going to return to Namek and stay here. This is where he belongs. And Raditz can respect that. At least he's found his brother, and it will be a temporary alliance, and they'll defeat Frieza, hopefully. With all this training, the 2 of them grow a lot stronger. Obviously, Kakarot was already on a great path, but now, Raditz has more training. And even though the Namekians are wary of him at first, things should be okay. It takes a few months before anything happens, and let's say after some training, Kakarot gets to a level of about 15,000, with Raditz going all the way up to where Kakarot was at its 6,000. And after these few months pass, they eventually do sense two powers coming to Namek. Raditz never knew how to sense ki before, which he just learned on Namek, so he can't actually tell who these two are, but it must be Vegeta and Nappa. And as they get closer, Kakarot senses the maliciousness within them, but he can also tell that it feels like a Saiyan's ki. It has to be them. The two land on the planet, unsure of where to go. On their scouters they see a bunch of high power levels, but they're then met by two people, Raditz and Kakarot. They ask Raditz where the hell he's been, and he said his pod got destroyed, as well as his scouter, that's why he hasn't contacted them. And while Vegeta and Nappa are a little glad to see that Raditz and Kakarot are here, that's not the main goal. Before, when Raditz landed on the planet, they heard about the Wish Orbs. It's great that Raditz didn't die and they have an extra team member, it seems. But first, they ask Kakarot, where are the Wish Orbs? Kakarot's confused to hear this. Wait, why do they know about them, and is that why they're here? And Vegeta tells him, yeah, if they're gonna defeat Frieza, they're gonna need the Wish Orbs. He's gonna wish for immortality. Raditz wasn't even aware of this. These two seem really casual about it, like the only reason they came here is for the Wish Orbs. And Kakarot says he's not gonna let them use the Dragon Balls. They can't just use it for that. He can't even trust them. He literally just met Vegeta. He's not gonna let him become immortal. The two of them go back and forth, and an argument begins, which eventually leads to Vegeta threatening Kakarot. He tells Kakarot he's an idiot. There's no way they're gonna defeat Frieza without the Wish Orbs. He holds out a hand with a charged blast in it. But Kakarot doesn't back down. He's not gonna be strong-armed into showing them the Dragon Balls. And they ask Raditz too. Come on, convince his brother. But Raditz actually takes Kakarot's side on this one. Even though he's only known Kakarot for a few months, the two of them have a pretty nice bond, compared to Vegeta and Nappa that always treated Raditz like a doormat. But mostly this is because it seems like they forgot about him. It's like they only came here for the Dragon Balls. They didn't even care to see him alive, and actually scolded him for it. Angered, Vegeta launches the blast at Kakarot, and he simply swats it away. Suddenly Kakarot disappears behind the two of them. His first attack is a pretty strategic one. He rips off both Vegeta and Nappa's tails. They shout and turn back at Kakarot angrily. What the hell is he doing? Vegeta gets a read on his scouter. He thought Kakarot was a lot weaker, but it seems like he was suppressing his power. Now it's at 15,000. That's close to where Vegeta is in terms of power, but still, the Prince is stronger. He'll win this. This argument turns into a full-on fight. Nappa fights Raditz, while Kakarot takes on Vegeta. Nappa's ready to beat up Raditz. He's always been the weakling of the group, and this shouldn't be too hard. But Raditz is easily able to put Nappa in his place. He's been waiting for this for a long time. Finally, he gets to show them that he's not a weakling. And Nappa surprises he's then beaten up by Raditz, pretty easily in fact. As for Kakarot, the fight is definitely a lot closer. Vegeta is stronger by Kakarot, but not by a massive margin, but it's still significant enough to make a difference. Although Kakarot is still able to hold off Vegeta pretty easily, they are close in strength after all, and just as quickly as Raditz defeats Nappa, he goes over to help his brother. Originally, these two were going to handle the Saiyans alone, thinking that this would be a peaceful encounter, but other Namekians eventually join the fight, sensing that fighting is going on. They didn't expect this after all. And they knew those Saiyans were bad news. It seems like Raditz is actually on Kakarot's side though, which is kind of weird. They didn't expect him to side with him. But still, these two are a problem and they need to get rid of these Saiyans. As Raditz and Kakarot are trying to fight Vegeta, Nail then flies in, and with one single punch, he knocks the wind out of Vegeta, and he's thrown into a mountain nearby. The mountain cracks and collapses on top of Vegeta. And Raditz and Kakarot look on in awe. They knew Nail was strong, but Kakarot's never seen this power used from Nail. He's never had to use that much before. With one single casual attack, he took down Vegeta. Vegeta and Nappa don't even try and fight again. They're too beaten up right now. And Nappa's already called their space pods. They're gonna be stubborn about it. If they can't get the Dragon Balls, they'll just do it themselves. These two could stay on Namek alone. They'll find another way to defeat Frieza. Those two are idiots. They think training on this peaceful planet will help them defeat Frieza. How stupid. They're pretty pissed with Raditz too, and obviously they're not gonna take him along with them. Raditz doesn't even want to go anyways. Even if he's not going to stay here permanently, he's still welcome on Namek at least. Well, that was a complete bust. They thought they would just join the Saiyans and this would be nice, but it seems like things aren't going their way. And as for the two Saiyans, they have other plans in mind. If Dragon Balls actually do exist, they could probably find them somewhere else. There has to be other planets with Namekians on them after all. They've heard rumors about that. So even if they can't get the Dragon Balls here, maybe other places have it. Research begins for them. But they're not the only people researching. Frieza's also gotten wind of the Dragon Balls. But we'll be saving that for the next part. So, what did you guys think about this part? What do you think is going to happen with Kakarot, Nail, and Raditz? What's Frieza up to? And how will Nappa and Vegeta be involved in the story later on? Leave any thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part in this series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? as well as hitting the bell icon so you're notified about any future parts of this What If, or any of the videos that I upload on my channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.